Hey, welcome to week 5 of Unshackled with Tash. I hope everyone has had a beautiful week. And again, I thank everyone for joining in, listening. I'm loving the feedback. I'm loving that this is helping so many people. And as I said, I am making this very understandable and basic language because I know how many people get confused at different podcasts, different words, different ways they explain things. And for me, I'm just doing it very layman's terms. And obviously, when you work with me, it's a little bit different, and we do get into a lot of depth and the structure of what I'm teaching. But whilst I'm doing the podcast, I want this to be open to anyone to hear. And I'm also doing them very short so that people have the time to listen. I just find that's really important to find, 20 minutes to half an hour a day. That's it. So that's why these are short, and I'm going to keep doing that. So thanks again for joining in. So this week I just wanted to break up the education side of it a little bit, because there's a lot of information in breaking generational patterns and programs. So what I wanted to do today was give you some reframing tools and some daily calibration tools that we can use to help flip a situation. Now, I know a lot of the times we get told something and we go down a rabbit hole. We get told something's bad, or we get a letter from a doctor or, an authority or a government body, and we automatically go to the negative. Yeah? You think about it, right? If you got a letter from the police, you automatically think it's something bad. You get a letter from the council or, like I said, a government body or something that has authority. You don't automatically go, oh, wow, wonder what I've won, or wonder if I've got an award, or I wonder if, I'm getting a recommendation for bravery or something, whatever. We automatically go to the negative because that's what our brain knows. Our brain goes straight to the negative because that's what it knows, and that's how it knows how to function, and that's about protecting us. It's a research-based, evidence-based thing that our brain does. It's what it knows. It's trying to protect us. So if we go to the negative, then we have all the what ifs, right? And then we have all the, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this, it could be that. We stress ourselves so much over a situation that we don't know about without stepping out and thinking from a different perspective, right? So what I want to briefly discuss today is 2 different reframing tools, or as I call them, daily calibration tools. And the first one is what we call above the line, below the line. And obviously above the line is the positive, and below the line is the negative, or the one that doesn't serve you. And I know it's so easy to go down that rabbit hole. I know it's so easy to look at that situation and look at the doubt, the fear, the judgment, the resentment, the anger, all of those things that come into mind when you think something is going to be bad. But how about we flip that? How about we flip that story and flick that switch into, okay, what if this is a letter to say I am, being given an award, or I've won some money, or I've got a letter now from a doctor that says, hey, your latest bloods are showing this, this, and this. Let's get on top of it. And it actually takes you down a path of, hey, wow, if I didn't get those bloods done, I could have been really sick, or they wouldn't have picked up a particular, a growth or something else that's going on within you. If you didn't get those results or the reminder to get something done, you wouldn't know that you've got this next, stage in life that you have to deal with something. So what I'm trying to say here, guys, is start to look at the positives rather than all the negatives. Because here's the thing, until you go to a doctor or go to the solicitors or go to the police or go to the government body or whatever it is, you have a story running. You have this constant story running that it's all bad and it's all negative. So what you're actually doing to your body is you're increasing the cortisol and adrenaline in your body when it's not necessary, which then affects your brain and your lymphatic system and your adrenal system and your body just generally. Like all that stress on your body, it causes inflammation, digestive issues, all those things, but you've got no evidence to support that story because you're just running off fear, right? So if you can start to look at, rather than going down onto the below the line negative thinking of all the things that could go wrong, how about you start filling that line up at the top of, okay, this could be, saving me from having this, or it could stop this situation happening. Or, hey, am I so grateful that this doctor picked this up? Or I'm so glad my friend, told me to go to the doctors. Or, wow, I'm so glad that I reported this to the police because this happened instead. Or, wow, I'm glad that I got this from the council because if I didn't know that this drain was blocked, it could have then affected the rest of the yard or the house. Like, start looking at other scenarios. Don't always go to the negative because energy flows where focus goes. So if you continue to focus on all the negatives in your life, you are going to keep attracting more. When someone says, oh, it happens in threes, it will happen in threes because you're focused on the fact that it's going to happen in threes. We feed our mind so much negativity. Like so much negativity. It's like these people that are on placebo medication, like these medical trials, right? They don't know what they're taking. They believe that they're taking a medication that is helping them and fixing them, right? Then after the trial, there is so much evidence supporting this. The person isn't actually on the medication that's helping them. They're on a sugar pill or a plant-based pill, but they believe they're getting treatment, so they tell themselves they're getting better. This is a mind over matter, right? This is how strong our minds are, guys. Whatever we feed it is what's going to happen. So you keep feeding it negative, you're going to keep seeing negative. You feed it positive, you'll start to see the results of that as well. And that has a ripple effect on every part of your life and your family and your world and your existence. So that's just a basic, what we call above the line, below the line. So really start to look at the language and the words that you use when something isn't going right. Really start to try and fill the top part of the line. And every time you slip down into the negative, see how you can see it from a different perspective. See how you can see it as it's something that's happened for you, not to you. Because all these things are just showing you where you are not free, okay? Every time you sit in the negative, you're not free. Start to take control of your own thoughts and your own destiny and really start to see where this shapes how your life goes. The second one, the second reframing tool that I'd like to share with you is, this is a bit of an image one. And I want you to picture yourself holding a photo frame and there's nothing in it. Okay? And you've got this photo frame, and whatever's in that frame, whatever you want to put in that frame, imagine a picture of like either a bill, the family, a health issue, whatever's you're putting into that frame. Now, when someone shows you a frame with something in it, what are you focused on? You're focusing on what's in that frame, right? So let's use the example of a letter from a doctor. You are so focused on what that letter is, right? And again, your focus will straight away go to the negative. It will straight away go down that path of, oh, something's wrong with me, I'm sick, and then suddenly you'll psychologically and physiologically start getting symptoms. You'll start to convince yourself that something is wrong. And I 100% have done this to myself, where you have no evidence, but the doctor's letters come and it says we need to see you ASAP. So you automatically focus on the negative of what's going on. So what I want you to do, if something like this happens for you, and whatever the issue or the problem is that's in that frame, start to look at start to look at what it's doing to you. And what I encourage you to do is, when we get that type of information, you have two options. You can go down the path of faith, or you can go down the path of doubt. And we automatically go down doubt because it is what our brain does. It's wired to do that, to protect us, okay? So it's up to us to have the fact, go through our mind which decision and which story we're going to run with, right? So whatever story manufactures the belief. I hope you're all with me here. So whatever story you have running gives you a belief, which then goes through to the heart space, which then is where you decide if you're going to the faith or the doubt. And this is where that 10% of real conscious thinking kicks in. And it's hard because we are so wired to go down the negative. And it can be a stretch and it can be a challenge. So I highly recommend that you practice this with little things, so that when something big comes along, you're capable of flipping it into the faith. Because here's the thing, guys, you might have this letter, but you've got no evidence to say it's bad, right? All you've got is a letter to say, hey, we need to see you. This could be a, hey, we're lucky we caught it when we did. And wow, if you didn't get this test done, we wouldn't have seen this. But automatically you think it's going to be negative, it's going to be bad, I'm dying, this is sick, my family had this, which is a whole nother thing that I'm going to cover in this podcast, is that whole belief system that because someone in the family had it, I'm going to have it. That's called epigenetics, and that's all about environment, which we're going to discuss as well. But here's the thing, our belief, or the story that we have running, gives us our belief. So if you start to believe that, okay, this is really good that the doctors called me in, it could be that everything's okay. Yes, they've picked up a particular heightened level in a particular blood test or whatever, but it stopped the next thing from happening. And did you know that anticipation equals anxiety and excited, right? So you can have the anxiety of fear and doubt and all of that, but you can have that anticipation of, okay, I'm really lucky that I've got such a great doctor and he's so thorough and he's picked this up, he or she, have picked this up. Now, both anxiety and excitement have the same psychological symptoms, okay? That heart racing, that anxiety, heart racing, that palpitations, that sweaty palms, that feeling in your stomach, right? But you can make this work in a positive for yourself, and you can start feeding that scenario of, this is actually going to serve me. This is actually going to be really good. I'm going to get some answers, and I'm going to actually recognize that, my body is letting me know that something's a bit off, but I've got such a great doctor and I've got such a great team behind me that I know that this is all going to be okay. Okay? So it's all about where your focus is going. And I know I say this a lot in my podcast, but energy flows where focus goes. No matter whether it be good or bad, it will gather momentum. So if you start to really feed the positive thoughts and the what ifs, what if this is the best news I've had and it's saved me from having to have surgery? What if I left this any longer? Oh my God, how blessed am I that I have such a, great doctor that picked this up. Rather than, oh my God, I'm so sick. This is bad. I knew this was going to happen. My family had this. I'm now so unwell. This is going to affect my work, my kids, my sport, my this, my that. So as soon as you go into the negative, your body actually starts to stress. If you go into the positive and to the reframing of this is really good. I'm so glad they've picked this up. I'm so glad that, I am on top of this and I'm grateful. Gratitude has such a massive impact on your neural pathways. It changes everything, guys. And I know when you're in the situation, it's really, really challenging to see that. But I promise you, and I've been doing this now for years, and don't get me wrong, I have days where I crumble and I have days where I, slip back into victim. But you know what? I get out of it very quickly because I realize that's not healthy and it's not good for my body. And most of the times, it's the stories I have running in my head of what could go wrong. I have no evidence to support it. I have no evidence and no, what's the word I'm looking for? No cement information to prove that I'm right. It's just stories, which then cause my beliefs to run wild, and then I gather more and more evidence to support my beliefs. What I do now is I have the reaction, whatever I need to have, and then I sit back and I process it and I go, okay, what evidence do I have to support that this is a negative? None. It's just my fear and my doubt kicking in. Okay. How am I going to fix this? Okay, let's look at the things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful that I got the letter. I'm grateful that the doctor picked this up. I'm grateful that I felt something in my body wasn't right, so I went and had it checked. But I guarantee you guys, you start going down that path, you are going to feel so much better. Start doing the above the line. Stay away from the below the line. It does not serve you. And something with the below the line is judgment. For some reason, judgment has such an impact on our belief system, okay? The only person that you should worry about being judged is by yourself. People are going to have opinions. People are going to say whatever they want to say. We can't control that. And most of the time, these people have got their own shit going on. So my advice to that is don't listen to it. And when people are constantly judging you or having an opinion about you, it's because they've got so much shit going on in their own lives that they don't want to look at themselves. So it's easier to look at you. So go to the above the line. Get up into that space where there's gratitude, okay? And I don't care even if it's 5 little things that you're grateful for. Steer clear of the below the line. It does not serve you. It does not help you. It does not give you the answers that you're looking for. And here's the thing. You're stressing over something that you actually don't even know the outcome. So you've spent weeks or months stressing over something until you see this specialist or you see the person that's in authority or whatever it is. And then you find out, oh no, it's all great. Everything's fine. We were just giving you the heads up. We were just giving you an acknowledgement, or we were just making sure that you're okay. You've just spent 3 months of your life stressing over something you didn't need to stress over. So I always say, unless you have evidence to support that story or that belief, it's a positive. Until you are told otherwise, it's a positive. And in that reframing tool of what's in the frame, start focusing on what's in that frame as a thank you for letting me know. Thank you for showing up when you did. Thank you for guiding me down this path. Thank you for, exposing the situation or the illness or whatever it is. Thank you for being there at this time where I can really focus on either healing or going down the path that whatever the situation in your life is, be it a health issue, a breakup, a work situation, a friendship situation, start to look at what you can learn from this. It's not always a negative, guys. Energy flows where focus goes. Focus on the things that are going to serve you. They're just two little tools, okay? And I really want you to recognize that faith and doubt are such a decision to make when you're in this situation. Always go with the faith, because the faith is going to take you down the path that serves you. The doubt is just going to take you down a rabbit hole of fear. And that causes anxiety and depression and really horrible stuff on your body. When your cortisol is high, you're not rational. When your cortisol is high, you're reactive, okay? When your cortisol is high, your whole body suffers. So really start to look at what you focus on. And these are just some of the things that I teach within my program. And like I said, this week was just about giving you some strategies and tools to use to bring that stress level down and to help regulate your nervous system. So on that note, I want you to really start to look at what areas in your life you're really focusing on stuff that you've got no control over, and start to look at where you can put that time, effort and energy and how it can serve you rather than hurt you. Have a great week, everyone.